Let the vengeance begin!
Howdy, howdy. Sudevil here, and welcome to a 2v2 match with myself and BlackIronBattles playing a double Dwarf build against the Tomb Kings and the Greenskins. Now, before I get going, I just have a couple things to say and then we'll get into the match. I had a great long discussion with BlackIronBattles. He plays mostly multiplayer and has some really interesting things to say about multiplayer, about his personal journey, about how he's learning and improving his own play and how he does it. And I find his channel interesting and his commentary interesting, and I would really recommend any of my subscribers that are watching this go over and subscribe to BlackIronBattles and watch him play and watch his journey. The reason being is that you get to see marked improvement in his game and how he thinks about the game, and he really notices and points out his own errors and how he thinks about them. He plays on meta builds and interesting armies. His magic use is actually outstanding. He's up there with the very best of them on ensuring he's cycling through his mana very well and his abilities. Really interesting player to watch, and man, did I learn a lot from him in our discussion. It was really fantastic. And one of the things we talked about was upping our game and being more effective at explaining the battles and what we're doing and what we're thinking. So I've been recently trying to improve my channel, and I'm going to continue to do so. I'm going to start using these map markers, and hopefully they'll make an interesting addition to the battle. So simply, my army is in yellow, his is in blue, so you can see the difference between our guys. Now he's put 2 miners with blasting charges out front just to get some early shots, do a little screening. Our back line is well protected. I have Dragonback Slayers on this side and regular Slayers on this side, and Black Iron has regular Slayers in the back. Front line is me. I've got a basic front line with the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass and 4 units of Longbeards chevroned up to 4 chevrons. For the second line, I've got my Grumbling Guard here, and we've got a really layered defense or attack formation. He's got some units in the back. So the second line, he's got some Longbeards with great weapons here and here, and 2 units of Thunders to shoot down Lords or whatever comes his way. He's also got a group of Ironbreakers. He also has a Grumbling Guard, and in the last line he has 2 units of Dwarf Warriors. And in the very back, BlackIronBattles also has a cannon. For our leadership, I have a Rune Smith on this side with the Hammer of Karak Draws, which is really great. Minus 25% weapon damage, minus 44 melee attack for 50 seconds, which is fantastic. And the Rune of Wrath and Rune for that speed debuff and damage. And I've also got a Rune Lord, and of course I've got the Master Rune of Wrath and Rune and the Locust of Power, which gives everyone on the map 15% magic resistance. So no matter whether it's his or mine, we all have 40% magic resistance or better. For BlackIronBattles leadership, he has Grombrindle the White Dwarf, and he has Flash Bomb, minus 76% speed, minus 27 melee defense, which is awesome. Foe Seeker, and Grombrindle has no fear to make the entire Dwarf force unbreakable. And he also has a Thane with the Tormentor Sword, who are minus 26 melee attack and can't move for 9 seconds. Foe Seeker, and he has the Master Rune of Stromny Redbeard, which is actually pretty good. Plus 5 melee attack and plus 4 leadership. So that's our basic army. Also, I have in the back the Dowie stealth units. I've got 2 units of Bugman's Rangers here, 2 units of Bugman's Rangers there. All I want to do is bring them up around behind of the main force and get into these this Hammer of Gork and the Screaming Skull catapults to really get into their back line. For our opponents, the Tomb Kings has a really big cav contingent here. We have Necropolis Knights, 2 units, the Skeleton Chariot and Skeleton Horsemen. Very low tier infantry, Skeleton Warriors, and along the front line, Skeleton Spearmen, 4 units of those, and 2 more units of Skeleton Warriors here. with Screaming Skull catapults in the back line. He also has a Lich Priest, the Grand Hierophant Ketep, and has a lot of abilities on him. Sandstorm, Arcane Conduit, Uskep's Incantation of Desecration, minus 26 melee attack, minus 27 melee defense. Skakmet's Incantation of Skullstorm, a Vortex. He's got Petra's Incantation of Righteous Smiting, plus 40% armor-piercing missile damage. The Incantation of Vengeance, which is a direct damage spell. This Incantation of Protection, 44% physical resistance, which is very good. The Incantation of Cursed Blades, 20% magic weapon damage and armor piercing. And the My Will Be Done, plus 5 melee defense and melee attack for all the units within 40 meters. And the big one, which is the Restless Dead, which resurrects dead combatants, greatly replenishes the hit points of combatants. It only lasts for not 7 seconds, but it's quite good. For the Greenskins army, I really love this army actually. We've already got our miners with blasting charges going. I'll try and get through this fast. But he brought a full goblin army, which is awesome. The Warlord's Boys, Night Goblins, chevroned up, Goblins. He's got nasty Skulkers in the back. A unit of Trolls, the Night Goblin Archers, and of course he's got his Hammer of Gork. On this side for his Cav contingents, he's got Orc Boarboy Big Guns, 2 units, and 2 units of Goblin Wolf Riders. So we'll get this started. The damage from the artillery is really not going to be that bad because we have so much magic resistance and they do magic damage. The very first thing I'm going to do is send my Slayers out here to support these miners with blasting charges against the skeleton chariots. I'm continuing to move up into the back line. I just want to get into position and wait until we engage before I engage myself. These miners with blasting charges have engaged. I'm bringing... Oh, I wanted to leave my Slayers. I want to be very careful so that we could come back and defend this cannon if I needed to. I just want to get my front line engaged with this front line, get my Slayers out here and get engaged with these guys, get these Slayers kind of out here, the ability to go back and forth, and really just fully engage with that front line everywhere and let the back line get going. Now I'm slowly moving in my Rangers. I've got them into position. I'm just going to wait until we're just about to engage before I start fighting and firing. We got a Runesmith up here. I'm just going to start putting Runes of Wrath and Rune on units that I can get. This Thunder has been focused down. I have got my Slayers out here to attack, and now that we're about to engage, I've started the attack on this Hammer of Gork, and it is going to be very quick. I love these Bugman's Rangers. They're so powerful in the back line, and no one ever expects the Dwarf outflank from the back for the Bugman's Rangers. So we've already got this Hammer of Gork routing ready to go. We've got the front line fully engaged, and I'm engaging the Bugman's Rangers here on this Screaming Skull catapult. I see he's coming around here, so I've started to bring my Slayers back just to defend. These Slayers have a really good engagement up here with the cavalry. This is exactly what we want. We're going to do some real good damage out here. Black Iron is also bringing his Slayers out to support in this engagement. We've got the Skeleton Chariot on the way in. Black Iron sees that. He's got his Dwarf Warriors to come up and just defend our line this side. I've got my Rune Lord out here a little bit exposed. I'm getting shot by these Death Creepers. I will move these guys back and start chasing, and Black Iron will switch to attacking the Death Creepers as well. We've got an excellent engagement going on this side. Well, I'm moved on to the other Screaming Skull catapult, and we got a Vortex going on here. The Bugman's Rangers aren't going to take a whole lot of damage, and they regenerate. The Greenskins player and the Tomb Kings player have seen what's going on back here, but this front line, we are fully engaged, and we are going to win that 10 times out of 10. You know, we've got much higher quality infantry with the Longbeards and our Longbeards up here. We've got Grombrindle the White Dwarf in here fighting this Goblin Big Boss, and we've got Ironbreakers also supporting the front line. These Slayers are mucked up with all the cav. The Greenskins player is bringing back some units to fight these Bugman's Rangers, so I've changed my target. I want to just shoot into here, which will do two things. It'll prepare me for a charge, and it'll get some damage onto these trolls. I will also, I believe, move some of these guys back over to here to support. The frontline engagement is going extremely well. We're now going to be able to wrap up into here. This is really funny. This is the wrong place to route for a Night Goblin War Boss, right in front of a group of Thunders. So he's not long for this world. You do try and cast a spell, but you don't want to route in front of a group of Thunders. We're doing very well on this side. I've brought the Grumbling Guard in here to support this side of the fight. My Bugman's Rangers are engaged in this backline against Goblin Wolf Riders. We've got some Orc Boar Boy Big Guns on the way. We're going to keep shooting at them, and I have brought in here some support. I want to just get those guys routing. The frontline engagement is going extremely well. Right about here, the Tormentor Sword is going to go off. We just really want to control this area. So Black Iron has his Thane in here somewhere. There he is. And he wanted to capture the... Where is he? Maybe it's one of the Lich Priest or one of the groups up here. But we've just got a big ball up in here. We're finally really winning on this side. Going to pull in. Our Slayers are coming in to support. The cannon is shot all game long. We're starting to clean up this side. We've taken a little damage on our Bugman's Rangers, but we're able to really control this back line against the Night Goblin Archers. We have some charges coming in from the Goblin Wolf Riders, but now it's just bring in here, collapse from both sides, come on in, and grab everyone, and the back line is being well controlled by these Bugman Rangers. Even though the Goblin Wolf Riders are not going to do a whole lot to our Bugman's Rangers, because we have very, very, very good stats, good in melee, and we're going to be able to finish that off. I've got my Dragonback Slayers coming in to collapse, and this battle is quickly devolving. We don't have a whole lot of time left, but we're just cleaning up this backline. You can see everyone starts to rout. We've got this center part controlled, finishing off their leadership, and that is the battle. Great fun battle with Black Iron Battles. We'll take a look at the very end plates here to go over the details. Really fun playing with him. And I would definitely suggest go to his channel. Aside from, I want to get you to subscribe and see how he plays. He's really interesting to watch. He has a live version of this where we are discussing the battle as it unfolds, which was really, really fun. The front line for the Dawi did very, very good. These Longbeards are just so robust. 101 kills, 139, 45, 30, and 47 for the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass. Not much with the Rune Lord and Runesmith. I kept them out of the fight for most of the time. 20 kills and 5. These Slayers did fantastically with 14 kills. They were up against some really a great deal of cavalry on our left flank. Our Dragonback Slayers didn't do a whole lot. They were defending the cannon, but these Bugman's Rangers are just champs in every fight they're in. 32, 62, 54, and 38, and they routed all the artillery. For Black Iron's army, his Grombrindle was just lord hunting. Same with the Thane. The Miners with Blasting Charges did their job. They screened out cavalry early. The backline got into the fight with the Dwarf Warriors 20 and 20, and these Longbeards, the great weapons, 54 and 17. These Slayers, 36 and 160 kills for these guys. Fantastic. They engaged on the right flank. His Grumbling Guard, 11. Ironbreakers, 112 kills, and these Thunders, 8 and 0. They were really going after the leadership, and the cannon got 78. It was allowed to fire all game long, picked up a chevron. Now, Whitmore Jesse, I love his army, a goblin-themed army. If you're watching Whitmore, you've created a fan in me with your army. Love it. He's got the Night Goblin War Boss. The Goblin Big Boss is only 3 and 1. Unfortunately, I don't think these guys knew each other, so it was hard for them to play together as a team, which is always difficult in 2v2 battles, but it was fun anyways. The Goblins got 13-2, 7-6. These nasty Skulkers, they're so good, especially against the Dawi. 45, 16, 7. The Warlords Boys, 4. Night Goblin Archers, 17 and 11. And these Goblin Wolf Riders, 4 and 2. And the Orc Boar Boy Big Guns, 3 and 2. With the Death Creepers, 14. The Trolls, 11. And this Hammer of Gork still got 49, even though it got dumpstered early on. For Pagan's army, it brought a very wide army. Good Lord with Ketep. got a Lich Priest of Death. Very low tier front line. They're not going to do a whole lot to the Dowie with Skeleton Warriors 80414 and the Spearmen 2100. The point of this weak front line being to get off good kills with these catapults and to use the Cavalry and Tomb Scorpion really well. So the Cav got 0, 4, 22, 40, and 29 with this Scorpion, 13, 42 with the catapults. These were well controlled with the Slayers. We had 4 units of Slayers total, so it was very, very difficult for them to get around. If they would have had to try and get around and put pressure on our cannon and then get into our back line, quite difficult, but they managed one flank each. So I think that was pretty good for two guys that don't think that have ever played together. So Pagan and Whitmore Jesse, thanks for the battle. Really fun. Love playing with Black Iron Battles. He's really interesting, and definitely go over and subscribe to his channel because, again, I know lots of people who watch my channel are interested in analyzing games and thinking carefully about strategy and tactics, and his games are really on display for you to go along with him. Meaning he looks at his good parts of his game, his mistakes, his entire game as a package. He's really funny too. Like, he's fun to watch and interesting, but he will make mistakes and talk about them, which you don't see as much with some casters. So he's really fun and interesting to watch, and we're going to be playing more 2v2s definitely because Black Iron is so fun to play and chat with. Go see the live version of this where him and I were chatting back and forth. And if you like Blood Bowl, he's a commissioner of a big Blood Bowl league. Fun guy to listen to. Anyways, I hope you found it interesting, and I will see you soon.